Alright, hey guys, this is April 14th, Tuesday. And so yesterday what we did was we did the multiplication problems. So today we're going to do the division problems. So if you remember, basically multiplication, you just add the exponents, and division is the inverse, so you're just going to subtract the exponents. So the key idea here is that your numbers, you're still going to divide. So you're going to divide like you always had with your actual numbers. And then you're going to subtract the exponents with your variables. And so if you look, we'll just get into it. If we look at number 2 here, what happens here is we have the 5x plus 5, and we're dividing by 5. And so what we're going to do is just separate it. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to do this one. So we're going to do the 15x divided by 5. And so when I do this, 15 divided by 5, just the number divided by the number like we always do. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then the x doesn't have anything, so it just stays in your answer. And then, so that gives you the first term. Now, we also have to do the second term divided by 5. And so what happens is we're just going to do it this way. And so we're going to do the 5 divided by the 5 here. So you have to do it with the first term. You also have to do it with the second term. And so 5 divided by 5 then is just 1. And so you do the first term, 15x divided by 5, which was 3. The x doesn't have anything, so it just stays. And then here we did 5 divided by 5 and got 1. Notice those two terms are different. One has an x, one's just a number, so you can't combine them. And so it's just 3x plus 1. And so basically all you're going to do is they're going to give you 2 terms or 3 terms or however many, and you're just going to separate it into basically however many different problems, and then do the division and do the subtraction of the exponents. And so for this problem, we're going to do the 5x squared. I'll show it to you a different way. We're going to do the 5x squared divided by 5. So when I do this, basically you do this one. So you do 5x squared divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is just 1. You do the number divided by the number. And then the x squared doesn't have anything to combine it with here. And so it's just the x squared. So 1x squared. Then I have to do the 5 and the 10. And so this would be plus 10x divided by 5. And so I have to do the number divided by the number. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. And so that would be plus 2. And then the x doesn't have anything to combine it with down here, and so it just stays x. And then I have to do the 5 in that last term. And so that would be minus 10 over 5. And so negative 10 divided by 5, negative divided by a positive is a negative answer. And so it would be a negative 2. And so that would be your answer. And so notice, you just have to make sure this 5 goes to each of them. So you have to divide this first term by 5, that second term by 5, and then the third term by 5. Numbers you just divide regularly. Exponents you're going to subtract variables you're going to subtract the exponents. That's our division rule. Alright, next we're going to look at number 10. So notice the difference between number 10 and these other two I did. That's kind of what you have to, once you start doing math, what you really need to concentrate on as you move through the lessons. Notice what the difference is, because the lesson's going to build, and so if you can recognize what the difference in the problems are, then that can kind of keep you in check and progress you through the lessons. And so notice that number 10, you have a W on the bottom, whereas these first two only had a number on the bottom. And so number 10, though, you're going to work the same way. The only difference is we're going to have to subtract the exponents because we have a variable and we're dividing. And so I'm going to do W and the W to the 6. I'm going to do that one. And so W to the 6 divided by W is, you're going to subtract the exponents. And so it would be W to the 6 minus 1. This W on bottom is an understood 1 because I didn't write the exponent there. And so it's just 6 W to the 6 minus 1, which would be W to the 5th. And then you have W to the 3rd. Then you're going to do this one. And so you're going to do W to the 3rd divided by W to the 1st. And so that would be plus, subtract the exponents, 3 minus 1 would give you a plus W squared. And so notice, all that we're doing, numbers you actually divide, number divided by number, like you always done. Once you have exponents, you're going to subtract the exponents because of the division problem. And just make sure you divide it all the way through. So you have to do the bottom number divided into the top one, the first one, then the W into the W to the third. So you have to do it to each term, how many there are. So we'll do a couple more. Looking at it, let's try 16. So 16 is going to be d to the 6th plus d to the 5th all over negative d. Okay, so the first thing here, notice that we have a variable on the bottom, so I know when I divide I'm going to be subtracting the exponents. Also notice that the d doesn't have the variable written, so it's just d to the first, understood 1. And then notice it's a negative d, and so it's actually, you're going to be dividing by a negative, so you have to understand your division properties with negative. Positive divided by negative is going to be a negative number. Negative divided by negative would be a positive number. And so here, when I do the d to the 6th divided by the negative d to the first, you're just going to subtract the exponents. And so it'll be d to the 6 minus the 1. And then it's going to be negative because this is a negative understood 1 times a positive 1, which is going to be a negative 1. And so here we're just going to subtract the exponents. And so it would be d to the 5th. And it would be negative because of this. Positive divided by negative is a negative. So then that was this first one. Then we also have to do the second one here. So I'm going to do d to the 5th divided by d to the 1st. And so it's just going to, when you do that, you're just going to subtract the exponents. And so it would be d to the 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1, and that would give you plus d to the 4th. And so that will be your answer. Notice we have d to the 5th. You can't combine that with anything. D to the 4th can't combine. And so that is simply your answer. Okay? So just keep in mind when we're going to be dividing exponents, dividing these variables, you're going to have to subtract the exponents. I will do one more to kind of get us that last type of problem. And so it'd be like, we'll look at 24. So 24 says 50w to the 4th plus 30w to the 3rd. And then all of that is going to be divided by 5w squared. So notice what happens. This is going to, notice there's a number down on the bottom, and then there's the variable. So we're going to divide the numbers like we always do, and then when we do the variable part, you're going to do the subtraction of exponents. And so this first one is going to, when I do this first one, it's going to be 50w to the 4th divided by 5w squared. So when I do that, 5 will go into 50 10 times, so that would be the number part, number divided by number. And then when I do the variable part, it's going to be w to the 4 minus the 2, subtracting the exponents. And so that would give you 10w squared. 4 minus 2 is 2. So that gives you that first term. Now you're going to do the second term. So the second term is 30w to the 3rd over 5w squared. And so you're going to do 30 divided by 5, number divided by number, and that is 6. And then you're going to do the exponent, the variable with the exponent minus the exponent. So it would be w to the 3rd minus 2. And that would give you plus 6w to the 1st. And so notice you have a w squared and just a w, so we can't combine them. So they're exactly the same, combine them. And so that is simply your answer. And so that pretty much covers the lesson. And so just keep in mind the concept here. Whenever you're dividing, you just divide number by number, and that'll give you your number and your answer. And then when you do the variable part, you subtract the exponents. So y'all have a good day. If you have any questions, just get with me.